Just 2 more chapters. We can do this. We almost there. We almost at the end of the light. Hang in there. It is funny how long time ago I wanted to see the main fight more so than the struggle to survive against a powerful entity. After a series of chapters, I find myself having the opposite interest. Granted, it is more or less dealt with in this chapter, but it did make me appreciate the segment more than I expected. I enjoyed this chapter, though it may have hinted something to be displeased for the next and climactic moment of the final battle. You may recall that I was looking forward to the battle against Argalugia as a human more than the dragon aspect, mostly because the fight consists teamwork, and I do like it. Now I find myself enjoying more on what's happening with the dragon, and that one is more about struggling to survive. It's a shame because if this series has both of them on the right path, I would say this could have been the best war arc in compared to the other two that you already know what I am referring to. Bar none. Well, there are other problems, sure, but on the end note scale, it wouldn't have been the best. The chapter does shift back and forth between both Argalugia's forms, though you can argue that this one is more focused on the dragon portion. That said, this chapter is where I begin to think that this part is handled better than the other. While the tension is tough to grasp due to the past events, it is still doing a fine job on creating a suspense and how they wouldn't just give up when there's always a way to bounce back. If anything, I appreciate more on the use of their logic rather than a cheat code or Deus Ex Machina like we have seen with Zerov moments. There is some nice added touch that Mashima put into this chapter, though I will save the last part later. The first one is how the last location that will settle the score is actually the location of the first chapter. I like it builds up that this is it. This is where everything ends, and it plays off that this is their last stand. This is like a coming to the ultimate circle that has been created since chapter 1. The small nostalgia did help to add more to the flair. It's worth noting on how the art surely has changed, and to this day, I still recall the old days didn't have that many fan service. It was more tame and acceptable on its usage. Time sure has changed, hasn't it? I thought the teamwork display was nicely done, including Urza part. Yeah, I said it. It's funny though, because people sure made it out to be the killing point, like she just ended Argalugia, when in reality it's just a support. Believe it or not, it actually makes sense. I know there's a limit, and I know she has done so many crazy moments, but this one is not even that far-fetched. I must have missed some enhancement of hate that these people are taking. Gray did his part, along with Leon, to improvise a ship using their ice magic, which is smart. Urza provides a distraction and practically throw every sword she has in her arsenal just to weigh the dragon down. It's like throwing your Detective Conan, Hajime no Ippo, and One Piece volume collection at him. It's going to push him down. It never said he's immune to swords, just to magic, so that's fine. Plus, the sword can still weigh him down, it's not like it's gonna kill him. Juvia even has a part to navigate the ship with her water magic, so it can contact with the dragon like being forced to ride on it. It's better than having it somehow landed on it perfectly. The other nice added touch is when everyone is gathering for Fairy Spear, and majority of them are magic users. Chiria feels left out because if you recall, she can't do magic anymore. Carla inviting her to join along is a sweet moment. Carla is close to Wendy, so this is close enough. It's nice that Lucy has the main role to save everyone, so it's more than I could say for other series heroine. I think I'm going to be hated if I am clear on what I meant. Truth be told, this chapter made me realize something that I will save the discussion for another time after the series is over. The artwork is pretty good. I do like the small details that I mentioned and more. It is a good teamwork display, even if you don't want it to succeed. It's at least logical as this series can get, without all those ass pulls, that is. I purposely left the Dragon Slayers later because I will explain it in a moment. I do think the dialogues aren't as bad as some of the past ones. I do like how Lucy asks for everyone she has deep connection to, including her parents. it comes off as the grand finale, as it should be. As for Natsu, his lines are pretty decent, because while it is mainly friendship speech, it isn't cringeworthy, at least in my opinion, and it still comes to the conclusion that Arca Lugia needs to die. I say for the Dragon Slayer until now because it has one iffy moment that could segue to something for the fans to be displeased. The beginning portion is fine as it is. Arca Lugia shows one side of humanity when he recalls the moment that scarred his life for good. It's said in a short summary form, so basically if you want to know more of it, watch the latest movie. That transpires Natsu to say the speech of strong and weak, which again, pretty decent. The iffy part comes in when Natsu gathers all the powers from Dragon Slayer thanks to Wendy, so it now becomes one-on-one. There's a rule I must have missed out, that if you have a Brawly type character, you just have to give all that energy to that protagonist. Maybe I'm missing something. It's iffy only because the next chapter could end on a one punch or something that is quickly dealt with without too much of a struggle. It's basically similar to what's done beforehand, so the redundancy will kick into high gear. I didn't mind that Wendy ended up being the one to know that trick where she could give everyone their powers, since she has done multiple support techniques before. Though I don't know how Natsu could handle all of that. It's still better than rewriting the book for a cheat code. Still, it is a shame that the final battle could end on an all too familiar formula. On the bright side, the next chapter will contain more pages than usual, so maybe that will hint that the last chapter will have more than usual page count, even more than 26 pages. I enjoyed this chapter because I thought the process to use Fairy Spear was handled nicely. It's not that far-fetched to believe that it worked the way it did. Besides, it is made to keep him in place rather than defeating. The latter belongs to Natsu. So while I enjoy this one, I may be in for a yet again, oh well, moment for the next. I'm giving this chapter a 7. We look at the setup, you already could see it coming. I mean, I'll be heavily surprised if it goes the other direction, but let's be honest, it won't. We have to deal with this one more time. Just one more time. What are your thoughts of this chapter? We almost there. 2 more chapters to go. It's really ending. There is something I want to do, but I'll give you a heads up or I'll just surprise you. We'll see what happens. It depends how my life schedule works out. We're at the end, so get ready for it. And that will do it for the review. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.